You are the last human cartographer of dead space. It is a title with a certain morbid grandeur, like being the last lamplighter or the final blacksmith. You are a specialist in a field nobody sane wants to enter. You chart the borders of the great nothing, the cosmic wound where galaxies go to die. Your station is a lonely bubble of reality. It drifts at a careful distance from the edge. The void is a patient, hungry thing. You have learned its rhythms over the years. You map its slow, inexorable expansion. It is a job that pays well, mostly because nobody else applies. The main benefit is a profound sense of perspective. Your only companion is the station's servitor, a dull machine you call Virgil. It keeps the life support humming. It brings you nutrient paste that tastes like quiet regret. Your days are measured in stellar rotations. Each one is a silent victory against the encroaching emptiness. You watch star clusters vanish. You record nebulae being unwritten from existence. You trace the frayed edges of the universe. It is a job of immense importance, or so they tell you. To you, it feels like drawing maps of a shipwreck, a very, very large shipwreck. The rest of the galactic consortium stays far away. They prefer their star science to have stars in it. A reasonable preference, you suppose. You are watching a feed from a deep-range probe. It is charting a new tear in the fabric of space, a fresh bite mark from the void. The screen shows a wall of absolute black, a black so total it feels like a physical presence. Your instruments report a perfect vacuum, no energy, no matter, no laws. Then, a single spike appears on the energy reading. It is impossible. Nothing comes out of dead space. That is the first and only rule. You lean closer to the monitor. Your heart gives a little kick. It is not an instrument ghost. The reading is stable. It is a tight beam transmission, highly structured, intelligently crafted. The signal is not aimed at the galactic core. It is not a blind distress call. It is aimed directly at your station, at you. Virgil whirs softly behind you. Its sensor array probably thinks the station is about to be eaten. You might agree with it. You run a diagnostic, then you run it again. The results are the same. A signal is emerging from a place where signals cannot exist. It is broadcasting on a frequency that should decay instantly. It is like seeing a fish swim out of a desert. A very angry, very purposeful fish. The message itself is pure data. No language, just raw star science. It is a map, but not of space. It is a map of a mind. A consciousness of unimaginable scale and complexity. It feels ancient. It feels serene, and it feels like it is waiting for an answer. You have charted the home of nothing for 2 decades, and for the first time, something is looking back. Your fingers tremble slightly over the console. This is beyond your pay grade. This is beyond anyone's pay grade. Responding is a terrible idea. Not responding might be worse. The signal holds steady, patient, a god knocking politely at your door. You take a breath. The air in the station suddenly feels thin. You open a communication channel. You do not use words. You send back a simple query, a fundamental mathematical proof, the language of the universe itself. It is the cosmic equivalent of asking, "Who's there?" The response is immediate. The data stream shifts. It coalesces into a new form. It is an image, a sigil of woven light, a symbol that resonates in your mind. You have seen it before, in forgotten archives and forbidden texts. It is the mark of the elder ones, the first children of the stars, the architects of galaxies, a people spoken of only in whispers, a civilization everyone believed was a myth, the Lumina. Your blood runs cold. The myths were wrong about one thing. They are not gone. and they know your name. A new data packet arrives. It is a simple request, an invitation. Their vessel is waiting for you. It is just outside the sensor shadow of a nearby gas giant. They have been there for 3 days, watching, waiting. You feel a strange mix of terror and professional curiosity. You were hired to map the void. You just found out the void has neighbors. And they want to talk. Virgil rolls up behind you. Its metallic voice is flat. Unidentified vessel has entered local space. Recommendation: follow standard contact protocols. You almost laugh. Standard protocols. There are no protocols for this. The rule book for meeting a legend has not been written. You look at the sigil on your screen, that beautiful, terrifying mark of light. The masters of the star-born age. What could they possibly want with you? A human. A relic from a loud, messy little world. You send a single, simple acknowledgement. Your little station feels impossibly fragile now. A tiny seashell on the shore of a cosmic ocean. And the tide is coming in. You have spent a lifetime on the edge of the abyss. But you have a feeling you are about to fall in. You take your small transport vessel, a patched-up scout ship named the Quill. It is not much, but it is yours. Virgil stays behind to mind the store. You promise to bring it back a souvenir. Maybe a small, contained paradox. It seemed to appreciate the gesture. The flight to the gas giant is tense. Every sensor flicker makes you jump. You expect a fleet. You expect an armada of divine engines. Instead, you find a single ship. But calling it a ship is like calling a supernova a campfire. It hangs in the swirling clouds of the giant. It does not reflect light. It seems to be made of it. It is a slender, crystalline vessel. It glows with a soft, internal luminescence. Lines of energy flow across its hull like rivers of starlight. It is silent. It is motionless. Yet it feels more alive than anything you have ever seen. This is the Starlight Sentinel, a vessel of the Lumina. Your comms crackle, not with static, but with a sound like chimes. A voice speaks in your mind. It does not use language. It communicates in pure comprehension. Cartographer, we are grateful you have come. Please, approach and prepare for docking. The voice is calm, ancient, and impossibly powerful. You guide the Quill toward a shimmering portal. It opens in the side of the Lumina ship. It is like flying into a nebula. Your ship shudders as it passes the threshold. The docking clamps are not metal. They are tendrils of hard light. They gently cradle your small vessel. You have docked with countless stations. This feels like being held in the palm of a hand. You put on your encounter suit. It is a pointless gesture, you know. If they wanted you dead, you would be cosmic dust. But it makes you feel slightly more prepared, like wearing a raincoat in a tsunami. You cycle the airlock. The ramp lowers, and you see them. They are tall, ethereal. Their forms are woven from the same light as their ship. They have no faces in the human sense, just a concentration of brilliance where a head would be. They wear robes that seem to be made of captive twilight. 3 of them stand waiting for you. Silent, patient. The central figure drifts forward. Its light seems to warm the air. Welcome, last human cartographer. The mind voice chimes. I am Lyra, commander of this vessel. We have sought you for a great purpose. You try not to feel like a microbe being addressed by a mountain. It is difficult. You incline your head. A gesture you hope conveys respect. I am here. You send back, your own thoughts feeling clumsy. Why me? Humanity is ancient history. We are relics. Lyra's light softens. It is precisely your nature, as a relic we require. Your perspective? Your limitations, that stings a little. Being wanted for your limitations. It is like being picked for a sports team because you are good at sitting on the bench. What is this purpose, you ask? Lyra gestures with a limb of light. An image forms in the air between you. It is a ship, a vast, sprawling world ship. It looks battered, damaged, adrift. This is the world ship Eventide, Lyra explains. It carries the memory of our people, our history, our art, our children. It vanished a cycle ago. Its last known heading was into dead space. Your heart sinks, of course. It always comes back to dead space. You want me to find it, you state. It is not a question. We have tried, another of the Lumina communicates. Its thoughts are sharper, like shattered crystal. Our navigators are creatures of order, of logic, of star science. Dead space is the absence of these things. It broke them. Their minds were unwritten. Lyra's presence softens the sharp edge of the other's thought. The void does not affect your kind in the same way. Your minds are not so rigidly tied to the laws of reality. You are chaotic. You navigate by instinct, by feeling. It is a primitive skill we have lost. So your chaos is your strength. Your human messiness is a feature, not a bug. That is a new one. You believe my primitive instincts can navigate a place that erases minds? You ask. The skepticism is clear in your thought. We do not believe, Lyra replies. We hope. The Eventide is not merely lost. It is broadcasting a signal, a corrupted echo of its life hymn. It is in great distress. We must reach it. You look at the image of the Eventide. It is a ghost, a phantom in the ultimate darkness. This is not a rescue mission. It is an exorcism. What are the risks, you ask? The sharp-minded Lumina, whose name you learn is Cassian, projects a new image. It is a star chart, but it is fractured, broken. These are the paths of our previous rescue attempts. Cassian explains. Each one a failure, each ship lost. Their last transmissions were incoherent. The paths on the chart spiral into madness. They fold back on themselves. They stop abruptly. They are not routes. They are gravestones. This is what they are asking of you. To walk through a graveyard, to follow the path of ghosts, to find one specific ghost among countless others, and to do it using nothing but your gut, your messy, chaotic, primitive human gut. It is the most insane proposal you have ever heard. I will need the complete mission data, you say. Everything you have on the Eventide, its last known trajectory, the logs from the failed attempts, every scrap of information. Lyra's light pulses in agreement. It is yours. We will conceal your station. We will protect it until your return. If you return. The thought hangs unspoken in the air. You look from the ethereal, perfect beings of light to the ghostly image of the lost ship. They are gods, but they are desperate gods. They have come to a forgotten human in a forgotten corner of the galaxy. They are asking you to be their miracle. You have always been a cartographer of the impossible. This is just the next logical step. All right, you send. I'll do it. You are given a chamber on the Starlight Sentinel. It is less a room and more a state of being. The walls are soft light. The floor feels like solid warmth. There is no furniture. You suspect if you wanted a chair, you would simply need to think about it hard enough. You try it. A couch made of sunset appears in the corner. Not bad. They bring you the data. It is not on a drive or a crystal. A sphere of light floats into your room. It pulses with information. You reach out and touch it. The mission files pour directly into your mind. It is a waterfall of facts, figures, and terror. You spend what feels like days sifting through it. The Eventide was a vessel of peace, a traveling archive of Lumina culture. It held 10,000 souls. Its mission was to observe the slow death of a distant galaxy. It got too close to a tendril of dead space. A new, uncharted one. It was pulled in. You study the fragmented path. The last verifiable coordinates are gibberish. They point to a location that exists in 5 dimensions at once. The logs from the rescue ships are worse. The first one reports normal travel. Then the captain's log starts to mention that the stars are singing off key. The final entry is just a single, repeating sound. A scream woven into a chord. The second ship got further. Its navigator was one of the best. He tried to plot a course using quantum probability. He was mapping the what if instead of the what is. For a while, it worked. Then his logs become a stream of consciousness. He talks about seeing time as a color. He describes the ship's engine complaining about a headache. Then, silence. The third attempt was a drone ship, a mindless probe. It flew in a straight line. It broadcast for 17 hours. Then, its signal shifted. It began broadcasting what looked like architectural plans. Plans for a cathedral built out of sorrow. Then it too fell silent. Each attempt is a new flavor of madness. You see the pattern. The Lumina are creatures of logic. They tried to solve the void with math. They tried to understand it with science. But dead space is not a problem to be solved. It is a statement. The statement is, you are not welcome here. Trying to reason with it is like trying to debate a hurricane. Your human mind, Lyra said, chaotic, not tied to the laws of reality. That is a polite way of saying you are used to things not making sense. Politics, article love. Humanity has never let logic get in the way of a bad decision. Maybe that is the key. You cannot outthink the void. You just have to be crazier than it is. A joke surfaces in your mind. What do you call a Lumina in dead space? A lost cause. You suppress a grim smile. The humor is dark, but it keeps the fear at bay. The datasphere shows you one last thing, a spectral analysis of the Eventide's distress call. It is not just a signal. It is a single, corrupted word, repeated over and over. A word from the Lumina's own ancient language. The word means sanctuary. Sanctuary. A world ship crying out for safety. A ghost ship promising refuge. It is a trap. It has to be a trap. Or it is a genuine plea from something that is in unimaginable pain. You do not know which is worse. You close your eyes. The data settles in your mind. A map of madness. A chorus of failure. A single, desperate word. This is your chart. This is your guide. You stand up from your sunset couch. It dissolves back into light. You have seen enough. It is time to earn your title. The last human cartographer. You open the door of your light room. Cassian is waiting outside. Its form is rigid, its light sharp. You have reviewed the data, it states. It is not a question. I have, you reply. Your navigators were brilliant. They were also wrong. They tried to map the ocean with a yardstick. Cassian's light flickers, a sign of irritation, perhaps. Their methods are the bedrock of star science. They have charted galaxies. And this is not a galaxy. You counter. This is the hole where a galaxy used to be. You cannot map a hole. You have to feel your way around the edges. The thought seems to hang in the air, an alien concept to an alien mind. Feel? Cassian repeats. The thought is tinged with disbelief. Yes. Instinct, guesswork, a hunch. The stuff that makes your logical processors itch. You start walking down the corridor of light. Cassian drifts silently beside you. The commander has faith in you, Cartographer, Cassian says. I do not share its optimism. Your species is known for its emotional volatility. It is a flaw. Today, it is a feature, you say without looking at it. Where is the bridge? The Lumina may be gods, but right now, they are your passengers. You step onto the bridge of the Starlight Sentinel. The word bridge is not quite right. It is a vast sphere of observation. The walls are transparent. You are hanging in the void, surrounded by the pinprick lights of distant, living stars. In the center of the sphere is a raised platform, the command throne. Lyra waits for you there. Its light is a warm, reassuring presence. Cartographer, are you ready? You are not even close, but you project confidence. It is all you have. I am. Set a course for the last known coordinates of the third rescue drone, the one that sent back the cathedral plans. Cassian materializes beside Lyra. That position is a statistical anomaly. It is a point of maximal spatial chaos. To approach it directly is suicide. Good, you say, stepping onto the command platform. The front door is always the most interesting one. You look at Lyra. I need control of the ship's navigation, not the engines, just the helm. I will guide us. Your pilot will execute. Lyra hesitates for a fraction of a second. Giving control of a Lumina vessel to a human is unprecedented. It is probably against 1,000 of their perfect, logical laws. The risk is substantial, Cassian interjects. The human mind is fragile. My mind is the only tool you have that is suited for this job, you state firmly. Do you want to find your ship or not? The challenge hangs in the silent sphere. For a moment, you think they will refuse, that this whole insane venture will end right here. Then, Lyra's light pulses. Granted, its thought voice rings out. Navigation is yours, Cartographer. May your instincts be true. A console of light forms in front of you. It shows no numbers, no charts. Just a single flowing representation of the ship's orientation in space. You place your hands on the light. It feels warm and alive. You can feel the ship, its power, its grace. It is like holding a tamed star in your hands. Take us in, you command. The Starlight Sentinel turns. It leaves the safety of known space behind. It aims for the dark heart of the wound. The journey to the threshold begins. The trip takes 2 rotations. The mood on the bridge is solemn. Lyra remains a beacon of calm hope. Cassian radiates disapproval like a weak radio signal. The rest of the Lightform crew are silent presences. They manage the ship's functions with an unnerving, quiet efficiency. You mostly keep to yourself. You try to get a feel for the ship. You learn that it responds to intention as much as command. You think about a slight course correction, and the light console mirrors your thought. It is intuitive, frighteningly so. You spend the time practicing, making the ship dance among the asteroid fields, skimming the coronas of dead suns. You're not just learning to fly it, you're learning to trust it, and to make it trust you. On the 3rd rotation, you see it, the threshold. It is not a line. It is not a wall. It is a gradual unmaking. You watch a star ahead of you. It does not go supernova. It does not collapse. It just stops. One moment it is a fiery giant. The next, it is a patch of perfect black. Smudged out. Erased. The instruments on your borrowed console begin to flicker. The Lumina systems are far more advanced than your own. But even they cannot comprehend this. The concept of distance starts to lose its meaning. A sensor will report an object as 10,000 kilometers away, and 1,000,000 kilometers away at the same time. We are approaching the perimeter, Cassian states. The information is redundant. You can feel it. The air in the sphere seems to thin. The light from the stars behind you seems to stretch, as if it is afraid to follow you in. You can feel a pressure against the ship. Not a physical pressure, a metaphysical one. The pressure of a great and terrible absence. Steady as she goes, you murmur. The old naval phrase feels absurd here, but it is comforting. A piece of your own messy, human history. You look at Lyra. Its form is steady, unwavering, but you can sense the tension in its light. They have been here before. They have lost their people here before. The laws of star science are bleeding away. Lyra's thought comes to you. It is a quiet, somber observation. Inertia is becoming a polite suggestion. Causality is fraying at the edges. You nod. This is where your navigators broke, you say. They tried to impose order on this. They tried to shout math at a hurricane. You take a deep breath. Your hands are steady on the light console. My turn, you say. You close your eyes. You shut out the impossible sensor readings. You ignore the screaming proximity alerts. You focus on that other sense, the one the Lumina hired you for, your gut, your chaotic, illogical, human intuition. You feel the currents of the void. They are not currents of matter or energy. They are currents of pure possibility, of wrongness. You can feel the eddies, the whirlpools of paradox, the quiet, still places where reality has given up completely. It is terrifying, and you feel strangely at home. This is your territory, the map of madness. Forward, you think. The command is gentle but firm. The pilot, a silent lumina near the core of the sphere, obeys. The starlight sentinel slides across the threshold. It leaves the universe of logic and reason behind. It plunges into the silent, screaming, absolute nothing of dead space. The great wound welcomes you. For a moment, there is only blackness. The starfield behind you is gone. The light of the ship itself seems to be swallowed by the oppressive dark. Every instrument on the bridge goes dead. The console under your hands is cold. You are blind. You are deaf. You are adrift in the ultimate silence. Then you feel it. A tug, a slight pull on the ship. It is not gravity. It is something else. The ship wants to turn, to spiral into a tightening gyre. This must be it. The first trap. The lure of unreason that caught the other ships. The path of least resistance that leads to oblivion. Cassian, report, Lyra commands. The sharp-minded Lumina's light is dim, strained. I cannot. All sensors are. Null. The ship is reporting that it does not exist. The star science is gone. The panic in its thought is tightly controlled. But it is there. The god of logic has lost its religion. It is all right, you say. Your voice is surprisingly calm. The ship still exists. We still exist. The map is just gone. You push against the console. You send a counter-intention to the ship's desire to turn. You imagine a straight line, a path of pure, stubborn will. Hold steady. Hold. The ship groans. Not a sound of metal, but a vibration of light. A shudder of protest. It is fighting you. The void is whispering to it, telling it to let go, to embrace the chaos. You push back harder with your mind, your human stubbornness versus an ocean of entropy. It is a patently ridiculous contest. You might as well be arm wrestling a black hole. And yet, the ship steadies. The turning sensation fades. The vessel holds its course. A collective pulse of relief comes from the Lumina crew. It is a soft wave of warmth in the cold. You have passed the first test. You did not break. You open your eyes. The bridge is still dark. No stars. No light but the dim glow of the crew. Okay, you say, taking a shaky breath. Now we navigate. Cassian's light flares slightly. Navigate how? There is nothing to navigate by. We have no frame of reference. We do, you reply. You close your eyes again, focusing inward. We listen. You reach out with your senses, not your eyes or ears. You listen to the static, the roar of the void that drove the other crews mad. You have listened to it for years from the safety of your station. But here, inside it, it is different. At first, it is just noise, a formless, crushing roar of non-existence. It is the sound of every atom that ever was and ever will be, screaming in unison. It presses on your mind. It wants to scour you clean, to make you as empty as it is. But you don't fight it. You lean into it. You let it wash over you. And beneath the roar, there is something else. Faint patterns, rhythms, harmonies in the chaos. It is not sound. It is the ghost of sound, the memory of things that have been unmade. You can hear the echoes of dead stars, the whispers of shattered physical laws. The emptiness has a voice, and you are the only one who can hear it. There, you whisper. You point with your mind. Veer left, about 3 degrees. There's a quiet spot. The pilot obeys without question. The ship alters its course. You are not flying through space anymore. You are sailing on an ocean of insanity, following a map made of whispers. You guide them for hours, or what feels like hours. Time has no meaning here. You follow the silent currents. You dodge reefs of crystallized paradox. You navigate through canyons of folded space. You are a blind pilot, flying by the music of the abyss. The lumina watch in total silence. They are witnessing a kind of magic they thought was impossible. The primitive, chaotic art of human intuition. Suddenly, a new sound cuts through the static. It is not an echo. It is not a whisper. It is a signal. Sharp, clear, artificial. Lyra, you say, your eyes snapping open. Are you getting that? The commander's light brightens. Yes, a distress signal. Standard consortium frequency. Cassian's form drifts closer. The frequency is ancient. It has not been used in millennia. The signal is a ghost. It repeats on a loop. It is a single corrupted word. It is distorted, stretched, broken by static and paradox. But you can still make it out. You recognize it from the data files. Sanctuary. You breathe. It is the eventide. It is here. The distress call is a beacon, a lighthouse in the storm of nothing. But it feels wrong. The signal is too clear, too perfect. It is like a single, solid rock in the middle of a churning ocean. It is bait. We must go to it. Lyra's thought is firm, hopeful. It is the eventide. We have found it. Wait, you caution. Something is not right. This place erodes everything. Why is this signal so stable? Cassian answers, its own logic returning now that it has data to analyze. The cartographer is correct. The signal shows no temporal or spatial distortion. That should be impossible here. It is anchored. An anchored signal in the heart of chaos. It makes no sense, unless the anchor is the source of the chaos itself. It could be a trap, you say, or a lure. It is a risk we must take, Lyra insists. The desperation is back in its thoughts, the thought of its people, lost in this darkness. You look at the formless void outside the ship. You listen to the siren song of the distress call. Your gut is screaming at you. It is a bad idea, a very, very bad idea. But you look at the hopeful light of Lyra. You think about the 10,000 souls on that world ship, trapped, suffering, crying out for sanctuary. You were hired to do the impossible. This is just more of it. All right, you say, your hands returning to the light console. Let's go see who's ringing the dinner bell. You turn the Starlight Sentinel toward the signal. You plot a course straight for the ghost ship's cry. And the void seems to smile. The space around you begins to change as you approach the signal. It is no longer just empty blackness. It is warped. You see things in the periphery of your vision, structures that are not there, fleeting glimpses of impossible geometries, a corridor that turns back on itself, a staircase that descends into its own steps. The ship lurches, not from turbulence. It feels like the space it occupies is being folded, like a piece of paper. Report, Lyra commands. Spatial geometry is fluid, Cassian responds, its thoughts strained. We are in multiple locations at once. Our forward momentum is now also our sideways momentum. The bridge is currently located in the engine room. You feel a wave of vertigo. You look over your shoulder. For a split second, you see the glowing core of the ship's engine right behind you. Then it snaps back to the familiar view of the bridge. The universe is having a seizure, and you are flying through it. Your instruments are useless. The light console flickers wildly. It is showing you a dozen different realities at once. This is the paradoxical maze. This is what broke the other navigators. Their logical minds tried to solve the puzzle, but the puzzle keeps changing the rules. You close your eyes again. Block it all out. The whispers are louder here. The static is a symphony of madness. You let go of the idea of a straight line, of forward, of up and down. You have to navigate by feel, like finding your way through a dark room you have never been in. You reach out with your mind. You feel the wrongness of the space. You feel the places where reality is thin. You feel the knots of paradox. You cannot go through them. You have to go around them, or between them. Bank right, you think, not even bothering to speak. The ship responds instantly. It flows like water around an obstacle you cannot see. Now, dive, but also climb. The command is nonsense, but the ship understands. It performs a maneuver that has no name. It moves in two directions at once. It threads a needle through a tear in space-time. You are not flying the ship anymore. You are part of it. Your mind is the navigation system. Your instincts are the only law that matters here. The lumina are silent statues of light. They are completely out of their element. They can only watch as the messy, chaotic human mind does the one thing their perfect, logical brains cannot. Improvise. A joke bubbles up from the fear. What is the difference between a cartographer and a god? The cartographer knows when they are lost. You push the thought away. Focus. The whispers are getting stronger. The distress call is a deafening roar in your mind now. Sanctuary, sanctuary, sanctuary. Then Lyra speaks. Its thought is a cold, sharp point in your mind. Cartographer, there is something I must tell you, something we concealed. You open your eyes. The chaotic visuals of the maze still flicker at the edges of the bridge. You turn to face the commander. Its light seems dimmer, weaker. We did not tell you the complete truth about the eventide, Lyra says. Cassian's light flares, a protest, but Lyra silences it. The deception was necessary. We feared you would not help us if you knew the full danger. Your blood runs cold, a chill that has nothing to do with the void outside. What danger? The Eventide was not just an archive, Lyra explains. It was also a research vessel. Its primary mission was to study dead space, to understand it, to find a way to stop its expansion. You stare at the commander. They did not just get too close. They flew into the fire on purpose. They were scientists, you say, studying the abyss. They were the best of us, Lyra continues. They believed the void was not an absence, but a presence, a form of life or consciousness. They developed a probe, a device designed to communicate with it, to touch its mind. A horrified understanding dawns on you. They poked the bear, you whisper. The last log entry from the Eventide's captain was not a distress call, Lyra confesses. It was a warning. The experiment was a catastrophic success. They made contact. The void answered. It flooded the ship. It merged with it. The Eventide is no longer just a ship. Your mind reels. You are not on a rescue mission. You have been on a containment mission this entire time. They did not lie to you about finding the ship. They lied about what you would find. What is it now? You ask, your voice barely a thought. Lyra's light pulses with a sorrow so profound, it feels like a physical weight. It is a body, Lyra says. The void has claimed the Eventide as its physical form. A shell, the 10,000 lumina aboard. They are its mind, its heart. The distress call is not a cry for help. It is a lure. It wants more ships, more minds. It is hungry. You finally understand their true fear. They are not afraid of losing their people. They are afraid of what their people have become.